Subscribe to Cheating Tales Lab for more stories. We hope you enjoy this one. Let's begin. I loosened my tie as the elevator ascended to our penthouse. The conference in Silicon Valley had wrapped up early, and I was looking forward to surprising Scarlett with an impromptu dinner. As the doors opened, I stepped out, my footsteps muffled by the plush carpet. Approaching our bedroom, I heard Scarlett's voice, light and amused. I paused, hand on the doorknob, not wanting to interrupt her call. "Mom, you won't believe what happened today," Scarlett said, her voice carrying clearly through the door. "Tyler called to say he'd be home late again. I swear, sometimes I think he loves his work more than me." I frowned, confused. I hadn't called her today. An older woman's voice responded, "Love, your affair is no secret. Everyone knows except your fool husband." My blood ran cold. Affair? What the hell was going on? Scarlett's laughter, once a sound that filled me with joy, now felt like ice water in my veins. Oh, he'll never know. I'm so good at lying to him, and he believes anything I say without a doubt. They both laughed, the sound grating against my ears. Also, tonight I planned a wild date with Julian. He'll be here soon. We're going to that new exclusive club downtown. I stumbled back from the door, my mind reeling. Julian, that name echoed in my head, a mockery of trust. How long had this been going on? How many times had she lied to my face? Memories flashed through my mind. Late nights at the office, pushing myself to build our company, to secure our future. All those business trips, all that time apart, had it all been for nothing? I retreated to my home office, closing the door silently behind me. My hands shook as I poured myself a whiskey, the amber liquid sloshing against the glass. I downed it in one gulp, the burn in my throat a welcome distraction from the pain in my chest. Taking a deep breath, I picked up my phone. There was only one person I could trust right now. I dialed a number, praying she'd pick up. Alexandra Russo speaking. Came the crisp, professional voice of my longtime friend and lawyer. "Alex, it's Tyler," I said, my voice rough. "I need your help. Can you meet me at your office? It's urgent." There was a pause, then, "Of course, Tyler. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I ended the call, grabbed my jacket, and left the penthouse as quietly as I'd entered. Scarlett never knew I was there. Alexandra's office was a stark contrast to the chaos in my mind. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a panoramic view of the city I'd helped shape with my tech innovations. Now, that same city felt alien, as if it had conspired against me. "Tyler," Alexandra said, rising from behind her desk, her brow furrowed as she took in my appearance. "What's going on?" I sank into the chair across from her. Scarlett's cheating on me. Alexandra's eyes widened. "You positive?" I recounted what I'd overheard, each word feeling like a betrayal all over again. Alexandra listened intently, her expression growing more serious with each passing moment. When I finished, she leaned forward. "Tyler, I'm so sorry, but we need to act fast to protect your assets and gather evidence." "What do you suggest?" I asked, grateful for her calm demeanor. "First, we need to document everything. Your company's tech security systems are top-notch, right? We should use that to our advantage." She tapped her pen against her desk, thinking. "My brother, Derek, is a former police detective. He's a private investigator now. We should bring him in." I nodded, my mind already racing with possibilities. What about digital evidence? Texts, emails, social media? Alexandra smiled. "I have just the person for that. Ethan Wolf, a cybersecurity expert. He can legally access and preserve any digital evidence of Scarlett's infidelity." "Good," I said, feeling a spark of my old determination returning. "Let's get them both in here. I want to move quickly on this." Alexander made a few calls, and within an hour, both Derek and Ethan had joined us. Derek, a broad-shouldered man with keen eyes, listened intently as I repeated my story. Ethan, younger and wiry, was already typing away on his laptop. "Mr. Blackwood," Derek said, his voice gruff but kind, "I'm sorry you're going through this. We'll get to the bottom of it. I promise you that." Ethan looked up from his screen. "I can start monitoring her digital footprint immediately. If there's any evidence online, I'll find it." I nodded, feeling a strange mix of gratitude and anger. "Thank you both. I want everything done by the book. When I confront Scarlett, I want there to be no doubt about what she's done." Alexandra placed a hand on my arm. "Tyler, you want to confront her yourself? It might be better to let us handle it." I shook my head. "No, I need to do this. I need to look her in the eye when she lies to me one last time." The room fell silent for a moment, the weight of what was to come settling over us all. "All right," Alexander finally said. "Let's go over the plan one more time. We need to make sure everything is airtight." As we dove into the details, I felt a strange calm settle over me. The pain was still there, raw and throbbing, but now it was accompanied by something else. Determination. Scarlett might have betrayed me, but I'd be damned if I let her destroy everything I'd worked for. I entered our penthouse, my footsteps echoing in the empty foyer. The place that had once been our sanctuary now felt like a beautifully decorated lie. I made my way to the living room, steeling myself for what was to come. Scarlett waltzed in, a vision in a slinky red dress that left little to the imagination. Her blonde hair cascaded over her shoulders, and her lips were painted a deep crimson. She stopped short when she saw me, surprise flickering across her face before it was replaced by a dazzling smile. "Tyler, you're home early," she exclaimed, sauntering over to plant a kiss on my cheek. I stepped back, avoiding her touch. Change of plans. The conference wrapped up sooner than expected. Scarlett smiled and faltered, but I saw a flash of something in her eyes. Calculation, perhaps, or fear. "That's wonderful, darling. We should celebrate. How about I open a bottle of wine? Any plans for tonight?" I asked, ignoring her suggestion. My voice was calm, betraying none of the turmoil within. She waved a hand dismissively, turning to adjust her earring in the mirror. "Oh, just a girls' night out with Olivia. Nothing exciting." The lie rolled off her tongue so easily, I almost admired her skill. "Almost? Is that so?" I said, my tone hardening. "Funny, I could have sworn I heard you making plans with someone named Julian earlier." Scarlett froze, her hand halfway to her ear. She turned slowly, her face a mask of confusion. "Julian? I don't know what you're talking about, Tyler. Are you feeling all right?" I laughed, a harsh sound that echoed in the room. "Drop the act, Scarlett. I heard everything. Your conversation with your mother, your plans for tonight, how good you are at lying to me." Her expression shifted, fear giving way to defiance. "You were spying on me? I came home early, hoping to surprise you. Guess the surprise was on me." Scarlett's eyes darted to her purse, sitting on the coffee table. I moved faster, snatching it up before she could reach it. "Looking for this?" I asked, pulling out her phone and car keys. "You won't be needing these." "Tyler, please," she said, her voice taking on a pleading tone. "It's not what you think. I can explain everything." I tossed a manila envelope onto the table. It landed with a soft thud that seemed to echo in the tense silence. "Save it. Those are divorce papers. I suggest you read them carefully." Scarlett's face contorted with rage. "You can't do this to me. I'll ruin you, Tyler. I'll take everything." I smiled, a cold, humorless expression. "Good luck with that. You signed a prenup, remember? And I have more than enough evidence of your infidelity." Her eyes widened, realization dawning. "You wouldn't." "I already have," I said, moving towards the door. "Oh, and don't bother trying to leave. The security system's been activated. You're not going anywhere tonight." As I closed the door behind me, I heard Scarlett's scream of frustration. It was quickly cut off as the soundproofing kicked in, another feature of our high-tech home that I'd installed for privacy. "Now, It served a different purpose. I made my way to the elevator, my steps lighter than they had been in years. The pain was still there, a dull ache in my chest, but it was overshadowed by a sense of liberation. For the first time in too long, I felt in control of my life again. As the elevator descended, I pulled out my phone and sent a text to Alexandra. "It's done. What's our next move?" Her reply came almost instantly. "Meet me at the office. We have work to do. Derek got something." I stepped out into the night, leaving behind the ruins of my marriage and the woman I thought I knew. I sat in Derek Russo's dimly lit office, the tick of an old clock on the wall marking the passage of time. Derek, his face etched with concentration, pored over a stack of files spread across his desk. "Tyler, you're not going to like this," Derek said, looking up at me with a grim expression. I leaned forward, bracing myself. "Hit me with it." Derek pushed a file towards me. "Your wife's lover, Julian Reeves? He's not just some charming real estate agent. The guy's a bona fide con artist." I flipped open the file, my eyes scanning the pages. Each document revealed a pattern. Wealthy, married women seduced and manipulated into bad investments. My stomach churned. "How long has this been going on?" I asked, my voice tight. Derek shook his head. "It's hard to say for sure, but we've traced his activities back at least 5 years. He's good at covering his tracks." A knock at the door interrupted us. Ethan walked in, his laptop tucked under his arm. "You're going to want to see this," he said, setting up his computer. Ethan's fingers flew over the keyboard, pulling up a series of emails and messages between Scarlett and Julian. The evidence was damning. Plans for secret rendezvous, discussions about their future together, and worst of all, detailed strategies for siphoning money from my accounts. "She's been transferring funds to an offshore account," Ethan explained, pulling up a series of transactions. "It's been small amounts, nothing that would raise immediate red flags, but over time." "How much?" I asked, my jaw clenched. Ethan hesitated before answering. "Just over $2 million. The room fell silent. I stood up, pacing the length of Derek's office. My mind raced, processing the betrayal, the lies, the theft. But beneath the anger and hurt, a plan began to form. I turned to face Derek and Ethan. "Gentlemen, I think it's time we turn the tables on our con artists." Derek raised an eyebrow. "What did you have in mind?" A cold smile spread across my face. "They want to play games? Let's give them a game they'll never forget." The upscale restaurant buzzed with the quiet conversations of Seattle's elite. I spotted Julian at a corner table, his perfectly coiffed hair and designer suit a stark contrast to the genuine businessmen around him. As I approached, Julian stood, flashing a $1 million smile. "Tyler, I must admit, I was surprised to get your call." I shook his hand firmly, noting the expensive watch on his wrist. "Probably bought with my money." "Julian, thanks for meeting me. Shall we sit?" We settled into our seats, and Julian wasted no time. "So, Tyler, what's this exciting opportunity you mentioned?" I leaned forward, lowering my voice conspiratorially. "How would you like to be part of the next big thing in real estate?" Julian's eyes lit up with undisguised greed. "I'm listening. I'm launching a new project, Greenhaven. It's going to revolutionize eco-friendly living. We're talking smart homes, sustainable energy, the works. But I need a real estate expert to help bring it to life." Julian nodded eagerly. "And you thought of me? I'm flattered, Tyler." I smiled, knowing he was already hooked. "Your reputation precedes you, Julian. I've heard great things about your business acumen." We spent the next hour discussing the details of Greenhaven. With each passing minute, I could see Julian's excitement grow. By the time the waiter cleared our plates, he was practically salivating at the prospect. "This is incredible, Tyler," Julian said, leaning back in his chair. "But why me? I mean, not that I'm complaining, but—" I fixed him with a steady gaze. "Let's just say I have a feeling about you, Julian. I think we could do great things together." Julian raised his glass. to Greenhaven, and to a beautiful partnership. As we clinked glasses, I allowed myself a moment of satisfaction. The trap was set, and Julian had walked right into it. The Greenhaven project office hummed with activity. Architects pored over blueprints, engineers debated technical specifications, and in the center of it all stood Maya Vega, her dark hair pulled back in a no-nonsense ponytail. I watched as Julian entered the room, his eyes immediately drawn to Maya. She looked up, flashing him a dazzling smile that I knew was entirely calculated. "Julian," I called out, waving him over, "I'd like you to meet someone. This is Maya Vega, our lead software engineer." Julian took Maya's hand, holding it a moment longer than necessary. "A pleasure to meet you, Maya. Tyler didn't mention he had such talented and beautiful team members." Maya laughed, a sound like tinkling bells. "Oh, Mr. Reeves, you're too kind. I'm just excited to be part of such an innovative project." I hid a smile, knowing that Maya was playing her role to perfection. Over the next few weeks, I watched as she slowly but surely wormed her way into Julian's confidence. Late-night strategy sessions, chance encounters at local cafes, each interaction carefully orchestrated to feed Julian's ego and lower his guard. Meanwhile, across town, Scarlett was growing increasingly agitated. I received regular updates from our surveillance team, detailing her erratic behavior and frequent arguments with Julian. One afternoon, as I sat in my office reviewing the latest reports, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Mr. Blackwood, my name is Olivia Chun. I'm an investigative journalist, and I have information you might find interesting. Can we meet?" I stared at the message, a mix of curiosity and caution washing over me. After a moment's hesitation, I typed out a reply. "Ms. Chun, I'm intrigued. Let's meet tomorrow, 2 p.m., at Café Noir on 5th Avenue. As I hit send, I couldn't shake the feeling that the game was about to change once again. Café Noir was quiet at 2 p.m., most of the lunch crowd having already departed. I spotted a woman in the corner, her sharp eyes scanning the room from behind horn-rimmed glasses. As I approached, she stood, extending her hand. "Mr. Blackwood, Olivia Chun, thank you for meeting me." We sat, and Olivia wasted no time getting to the point. "I've been investigating Julian Reeves for months. I know about his cons, his manipulation of wealthy women, and his current relationship with your wife." I leaned back, studying her face. "And why are you telling me this?" Olivia smiled, a predatory gleam in her eye. "Because I have a proposition for you, Mr. Blackwood. I want to expose Julian and your wife, but I need your help to do it." "And what's in it for me?" I asked, even though I already had a good idea. "In exchange for your cooperation, I'll ensure that you're portrayed positively in my exposé. The wronged husband who turns the tables on the con artist who tried to ruin him. It's a story people will eat up." I pretended to consider her offer, even though my mind was already racing with the possibilities. This could be the final piece of my plan, the coup de grace that would bring everything crashing down around Scarlett and Julian. "What exactly did you have in mind, Miss Chun?" Olivia leaned forward, her voice low and intense. "A sting operation. We catch Julian in the act of fraud, expose Scarlett's complicity, and bring down their whole operation." I nodded slowly, a smile spreading across my face. "Miss Chun, I think this is the beginning of a very fruitful partnership." As we shook hands, sealing our agreement, I couldn't help but feel a surge of anticipation. The endgame was approaching, and soon, very soon, Scarlett and Julian would learn the true cost of their betrayal. The Greenhaven launch party buzzed with energy. Champagne flowed freely as investors, politicians, and media personalities mingled, all eager to be part of what they believed was the next big thing in sustainable living. I stood at the center of it all, playing the gracious host while keeping a watchful eye on Julian. He swaggered through the crowd, charm oozing from every pore. I had to hand it to him. The man knew how to work a room. As he approached, I steeled myself for the performance of a lifetime. "Tyler, my friend," Julian clapped me on the back. "What a turnout. I think it's time we finalize our deal, don't you? I nodded, allowing a hint of excitement to color my voice. Absolutely, Julian. Let's step into my office. We made our way to a private room, leaving the noise of the party behind. Julian produced a stack of documents with a flourish. I've had my lawyers draw up the final contracts, he said, his eyes gleaming with barely concealed greed. Once you sign these, we'll be full partners in Greenhaven. Think of the possibilities, Tyler. I made a show of reviewing the documents, my heart racing with anticipation. This was the moment everything hinged on. It all looks good, Julian, but I have one small addition I'd like to make. Julian's smile faltered for a moment before he recovered. Of course, of course. What did you have in mind? I pulled out a single sheet of paper. Just a minor clause about profit distribution. Nothing to worry about. As Julian leaned in to read, I caught Maya's eye across the room. She gave an imperceptible nod. Everything was in place. This seems fine, Julian said, clearly impatient to get the deal done. Let's sign and get back to the party. I'm sure the press is eager for an announcement. We both signed with a flourish. As Julian's pen left the paper, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. It was done. Congratulations, Julian, I said, my voice hard. You've just signed over all your assets to a victim restitution fund. The color drained from his face. What are you talking about? I stood, looming over him. Did you really think I wouldn't find out about your con? About how you and Scarlett planned to bleed me dry? Julian lunged for the documents, but Maya was faster. She swept into the room, badge in hand. Julian Reeves, you're under arrest for multiple counts of fraud and conspiracy. As the reality of his situation sank in, Julian's charm evaporated. He snarled, revealing the true face behind the mask. You set me up. You can't do this. I leaned in close, my voice low. I just did. Enjoy prison, Julian. I hear they love con men there. As Maya led Julian away in handcuffs, I turned to face the party. It was time for the final act of this drama. The launch party had devolved into chaos. Whispers spread like wildfire as Julian was escorted out in handcuffs. I took to the stage, tapping the microphone to get everyone's attention. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the disruption. I'm afraid Mr. Reeves won't be joining us for the rest of the evening. A ripple of nervous laughter ran through the crowd. However, I assure you that Greenhaven will proceed as planned, under my sole direction. As I fielded questions from the shocked attendees, I spotted Scarlett pushing her way through the crowd. Her face was a mask of fury and panic. Tyler, she shouted, storming up to the stage. What have you done? I stepped down to meet her, keeping my voice calm. I've simply exposed the truth, Scarlett. Your little game is over. She grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. You don't understand. Julian manipulated me. I never meant to hurt you. Before I could respond, Olivia appeared at my side. Save it, Scarlett. We have proof that you were a willing participant in Julian's schemes. Scarlett's eyes widened in recognition. Olivia? But you're my friend. Olivia's laugh was cold. I'm an investigative journalist, Scarlett, and you've just given me the story of a lifetime. As the truth of her situation sank in, Scarlett's demeanor changed. The mask of the wronged wife slipped away, revealing the calculating woman beneath. You think you've won? She hissed, her voice dripping with venom. I'll ruin you, Tyler. I'll tell everyone what a cold, heartless bastard you are. I met her gaze steadily. Go ahead. Tell them how I caught my wife cheating, exposed a fraud, and protected countless potential victims from your schemes. I'm sure they'll be horrified. Scarlett's face contorted with rage. She raised her hand to slap me, but security intervened, gently but firmly escorting her from the premises. As she was led away, I turned to Olivia. You got everything? She nodded, patting her recorder. Every word. This expose is going to blow the lid off the whole operation. I allowed myself a small smile. Good. Make sure the world knows exactly who Scarlett and Julian really are. Months passed, and the dust began to settle. Greenhaven, now fully under my control, had become a beacon of sustainable living. My reputation, far from being tarnished by the scandal, had soared. People saw me as a victim who had turned the tables on those who tried to exploit him. I stood at the podium, surveying the packed auditorium. The energy was electric as I prepared to unveil my latest innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, I began, my voice carrying easily through the space. Today marks a new chapter in the integration of technology and daily life. I present to you Neuralink, a revolutionary brain-computer interface that will change the way we interact with our world. As I launched into my presentation, demonstrating the capabilities of Neuralink, I scanned the audience. My eyes locked with a woman in the front row, Dr. Zara Khoury, the brilliant neuroscientist whose work had been instrumental in developing Neuralink. I wrapped up my speech to thunderous applause, then made my way off the stage. Zara met me at the bottom of the steps, her eyes shining with excitement. "Tyler, that was incredible," she said, her voice warm. "The way you explained the complex neural pathways, you made it accessible to everyone." I felt a spark of something I hadn't experienced in a long time. Not just attraction, but a genuine connection. "I had a good teacher," I replied, smiling. "Your research laid the groundwork for all of this." As we discussed the potential applications of Neuralink, I found myself truly engaged for the first time since the whole ordeal with Scarlett and Julian began. Zara's passion for her work matched my own, and her integrity shone through in every word. "Listen," I said, making a split-second decision, "I have some ideas for expanding Neuralink's capabilities. Would you be interested in collaborating?" Zara's face lit up. "Absolutely. I have some theories about enhancing memory recall that could dovetail perfectly with your work." As we made plans to meet and discuss our ideas further, I felt a sense of anticipation I hadn't experienced in years. This wasn't just about business or innovation. It was about starting a new chapter, one built on mutual respect and shared passion. Later that evening, as I prepared to leave the conference center, Olivia caught up with me. "Quite a show, Tyler," she said, grinning. "I see you've met Dr. Khoury." I raised an eyebrow. "Keeping tabs on me, Olivia?" She laughed. "Always. But don't worry. This is off the record. I just wanted to let you know that my book about the whole Greenhaven scandal is set to hit shelves next month." I nodded, feeling a mix of emotions. "And how does it end?" Olivia's expression softened. "With justice served and a man who refused to be a victim. You come off pretty well, Tyler." As we said our goodbyes, I couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought me here. The pain of Scarlett's betrayal had faded, replaced by a determination to build something meaningful. My phone buzzed with a text from Zara, confirming our meeting for the following day. I smiled, feeling a sense of anticipation I hadn't experienced in years. The future stretched out before me, full of possibilities. And this time, I was facing it with my eyes wide open.